Just sewing some cloth. It's been so cold lately. I'm trying to patch up some of the old blankets before the snow gets worse. Yes, winter has been harsh this year. You know, talking about winter, did you know there's a yokai that's said to live in snowy mountains? She was called Yuki-Onna. Her name means snow woman. People in the mountains told stories about her long ago. She was so famous, some travelers would avoid certain trails entirely because of what they said she could do. All right, but remember, this is one of those stories people tell in winter when the nights are long and quiet. It's a story about Yuki-Onna and how she was both feared and strangely mysterious. People in the snowy regions of Japan tell stories about a spirit called Yuki-Onna. Her name means snow woman. Most of these stories come from areas around the Japanese Alps, where winters are long and storms can trap travelers for days. She's described as a beautiful woman with very pale skin, long black hair, and dark eyes. Her body is as cold as ice, and a single touch can drain warmth from a person. Many say she takes the life of her victims by breathing onto them, freezing them in an instant. Rumors of her spread because people went missing during blizzards. Villagers found frozen bodies along the mountain roads, and some believed no ordinary storm could do that. So the idea grew that someone or something was hunting out there. Is she evil? The stories don't agree. Most say she kills without hesitation, but there are a few where she shows mercy or even falls in love with the people she meets. So villagers feared her, but they also wondered what she truly wanted. One of the most well-known stories comes from Shinano Province. It's about two woodcutters who got caught in a sudden snowstorm. The younger one was named Minokichi, and the older man was called Mosaku, though people sometimes forget his name. The storm forced them to take shelter in a small river hut. It had thin walls and no fire, so they wrapped themselves in their cloaks and tried to sleep through the night. Outside, the wind howled against the wood, and snow piled up at the door. Minokichi woke up to the sound of the door sliding open. A woman in white stood inside, snow gathering at her feet, but never melting. She moved silently to Mosaku first. Minokichi watched as she breathed onto him. The older man froze, his body stiff and covered in frost. Then she turned to Minokichi. He expected the same fate, but she paused. Instead of killing him, she studied his face. After a moment, she spoke. She told him she would spare his life because he was young and handsome. But she warned him never to tell anyone what he had seen. If he did, she would return for him. Then she vanished into the storm. Minokichi survived the night and eventually made it home. He told no one about the strange woman in white. Months passed, then years. He grew older, married a kind and gentle woman named Oyuki, and they had children together. One winter night, Minokichi mentioned how his wife reminded him of that night in the river hut. He described the woman in white with skin as pale as snow and breath as cold as ice. When he finished speaking, his wife looked at him calmly and revealed the truth. She was that woman. She had lived quietly as his wife, hoping the secret would stay buried. But because he finally spoke of it, she could not stay. She told him she would not harm him for the sake of their children. Then she stepped outside, and without leaving a footprint in the snow, she disappeared into the storm. And that is the story of Yuki-Onna. Some say she still walks the mountains in winter, but only when no one is watching. No, The mountains are far from here, but that's why people always respected winter and the snow.